Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, we're going to be looking at the buy list from Shining Legends. This is where I tell you all the cards that I think you should have in your binder when a new set comes out. Now, Shining Legends was a little mini set. You can't go and buy a booster box of it. You've got to buy it as its own little set, its own packs, etc. Things like the Pikachu pin collection, for instance, or the Zoroark collection. And I wasn't necessarily going to do a buy list for Shining Legends, but a lot of people asked me to, so I thought, you know what? Would be rude not to. As always, I'm going to give you the list of cards that I think you should have in your binder to essentially be able to tech or make any deck you like. But of course, it's up to you. You do what you want, you buy what you want. I am merely your guide through the wonderful world of Shining Legends. So first up, we have got Venusaur, great ability that makes all of your grass energy count double. Really, this is its own deck, so you might need 3 of these if you're going to make a deck based around it. At the moment, it's just with Shining Genesect. I leave it up to you, but you might want to get 3 of these in your binder for if a good grass Pokemon is released in the future. Shaymin and VIRIZION, you need probably 1 of each of these. These are very much tech Pokemon. These are Pokemon that you might want to put into a grass deck, like Tapu Bulu Vikavolt, for instance. Shaymin is good because it just allows you for 2 energy to do 120 damage for 2 energy on a non-GX. VIRIZION is kind of expensive in that it takes 3 energy, but you do 90 to the active, 30 to the bench. Not unlike Night Spear, and that's good because if your opponent's got a half KO'd Pokemon on the bench, VIRIZION can finish it off. Shining Genesect, you need 1 of these. It's a great tech because it can be used with both double colourless and rainbow energy. Add a choice band and you're getting a 1-hit KO on Lycanroc, which is increasing in play because of Zoroark. If you're going to be making a deck with Shining Genesect, you need 4, otherwise 1 in your binder as a tech will do fine. You need 1 or 2 VOLCARONA here because VOLCARONA has a very interesting ability. The ability on VOLCARONA here just essentially works as a Pokemon reversal, or a repel as it would be nowadays, once per turn. It's not a great card, it's not an every deck card, but sooner or later this might be a fun tech to use. Nice to have 1 or 2 in your binder. You need a couple of RESHIRAM. What makes RESHIRAM good is that it hits for fire weakness, but can be used for just a double colourless energy and put into any deck at all. Outrage is a great attack, doing 20 damage plus the amount of energy that's on it. And if you pop a Fighting Fury bout on RESHIRAM, you've got 170 HP. There's a whole bunch of Pokemon that won't be getting a 1-hit KO. So you can then come along with RESHIRAM, hit for decent fire damage while not using fire energy. Something to bear in mind. You need a couple of Manaphy because Manaphy is great for healing your water Pokemon. Once per turn, you can just heal 20 damage from 1 of your Pokemon that has any water energy attached to it. Although do remember that that will include rainbow energy or counter energy, etc. Pretty good for healing. It's not going to be used in every deck, but remember these cards, we're trying to make a binder so that every time we go, oh, that would be cool in a deck, you go, oh wait, I've got a couple of these because Wassy told me it was the right thing to do. You should have 1 or 2 Keldeo because Keldeo is just a really nice non-EX, non-GX attacker. For 2 water energy, 20 damage plus 20 more for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Now, in Expanded, when your opponent is playing Zoroark with Skyfield, and they've got 8 benched Pokemon, then you're basically doing 180 with a choice band, you're KOing a Zoroark. That's really nice, but even in Standard, you could potentially be doing 120 damage for 2 energy. When you build in stuff like Aqua Patch, it becomes a pretty good attacker that you should bear in mind. Now, weirdly, I also think you should have 2 to 3 VOLTORB. Because Electrode looks like it's going to be a lot better with cards like Counter Energy and Counter Catcher that can only be used if you're behind on prizes. At the moment, we're using the Evolutions Voltorb. 10 damage for every heads you can flip in a row, whereas this Voltorb just does a flat 10 damage. If you're playing lightning energy, sometimes that 10 damage or 40 with a choice band could literally be enough to win you the game. Something to bear in mind at least. Raichu-GX is very simple. You don't need Raichu-GX, but you might want to make a Raichu-GX deck. And if you want to build a Raichu deck, you're going to need some Raichu. Do remember that the full art is coming out in its own box in January, so only really be worrying about this if you really want it now. Otherwise, just wait until the box comes out. Raikou, I think you need 4 Raikou. Raikou is one of the very best cards from this set. 30 damage for 1 energy and attach a lightning from your discard to one of your bench Pokemon. It's really good as a starter in lightning decks, and even if there aren't any lightning decks we love at the moment, sooner or later there probably will be, and when there is, Raikou is a great starting Pokemon in those decks. I think you're going to need a playset of these bad boys. 1 or 2 ZEKROM, it's same as RESHIRAM, but for a lightning Pokemon. Uses colourless energy, nice as a bit of a wall, good if you pop a Fighting Fury bout on there. So in the same reason I think you need 1 or 2 RESHIRAM, I think you need 1 or 2 ZEKROM. 2 Shining Mew. Now, to be fair, you could go as high as 4 Shining Mew here. Shining Mew is really good because it's just a great starter. I literally just spoke about how good Raikou is as a starter. Shining Mew is arguably even better. 1 Psychic Energy, search your deck for up to 2 energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like. It's energy cards, not basic energy cards, so you can grab stuff like double colourless or rainbow, etc. Super handy. The 30 HP really hurts, but then again you've got free retreat, so that's quite nice. Shining Jirachi, I've made it quite clear I'm not a fan of this, but I do see how it could be used in some decks, so maybe get 1 or 2 Shining Jirachi. You do 10 damage while devolving the opponent's active Pokemon down a stage. I really like it with Choice Band against an Espeon, because you'll do 80 damage with weakness, they'll be devolved to a 60 HP EV and get KO'd. A couple of Marshadow. I think Marshadow is underplayed, and I think Marshadow is going to be a lot better in the future. The ability is basically a judge. Both players shuffle up and get 4 cards. The thing is, you can do this on turn 1, and it will actually do 2 things. Firstly, it gives you a mini shuffle draw after using your supporter. Secondly, it puts your opponent down to a 4-card hand before they've even drawn a card. I think Marshadow is really good. I only think you need a couple of them. I don't think it's something you're going to be playing millions in a deck, but I do think you need a couple set aside. I also think you need 1 or 2 Stunfisk set aside. Like a lot of cards in Shining Legends, it's a tech. You're not going to build a deck around Stunfisk. The vast majority of cards I think you should pop in your binder here, there's a lot of 1 to 2 ofs, because there's a lot of techs here. Stunfisk is this. It is a fighting Pokemon that takes lightning energy. So if you're in a deck that's playing something like Raikou or Vikavolt, and you're accelerating that energy anyway, in comes Stunfisk. It's a fighting Pokemon that can hit for weakness against fighting weak Pokemon like Drampa, but it uses lightning energy, which is quite nice. And a couple of Warp Energy, because, I don't know, Warp Energy could be quite good. Nobody's really playing Warp Energy at the moment, but it's a switch in an energy. Good when you're under item lock. I think this could see an increase in play. And you really need 4 Zoroark-GX. Zoroark-GX is great. Now, you can get away with a couple, but this is not something like a Tapu Lele, although some people want 4 Tapu Lele in decks, where it's always going to be a support Pokemon. Especially in expanded with Lycanroc, Zoroark could be the basis of your deck. He could be your main attacker. For that reason, I think you need 4 of them. Anything else like Hooper, Shining Rayquaza, etc., yeah, you can go ahead and get them, but really they're going to be because you want to make a deck based around them at some point, or you particularly like them. I don't think they're great, I don't think they're needed, but that shouldn't stop you getting them if you want to use them in decks in the future. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was my Shining Legends buy list. Here it is in its entirety. I'm not saying you have to go and buy every single one of those cards. Maybe you disagree with me on 1 or 2 of them, in which case, cool. Either way, hopefully that's given you a nice indication of the kind of cards you're going to need, where you're going to need to be going with this particular set. With the Zoroark, by the way, buy the Zoroark boxes, because then you get some packs as well. To be honest, what I'm probably going to do with this set is just go and buy 4 Zoroark boxes, and then maybe buy a couple of singles to fill in the gaps. Zoroark's coming in a box. I don't need to try and pull it. I will be fine. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you know the deal. Make sure you pop a comment down below. Tell me if there are cards you think I missed off the list. Tell me what cards you're going to be buying from Shining Legends. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWossy, and Twitch at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. That's where the live action happens. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, etc., you can do so at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.